Alrighty, I have Renee Michaels here with me. She is one of the ladies in the suite and she's awesome. She's got like a lot of things to know about her. So I'm excited that you're going to get to kind of learn behind the scenes of Renee. Renee, I'm so glad you're here. Tell us where you live.
Thank you. I'm so glad to be here. I'm in Oklahoma, so I'm in a town that's about an hour north of Tulsa.
Okay, cool. What we're going to kick this off with, what is your favorite joke?
Ugh. Okay. I am a comedian's worst nightmare. Like, if you want to make me laugh, you're gonna have to work for it. I'm terrible, and I feel awful about it. Like, I really do. I feel like I should think something's funny because everybody else thinks it's funny, but I just don't. It's really, really hard to make me laugh. So I don't have a favorite joke. I mean, so before I was talking to you today, I actually was Googling jokes, like something make me laugh. Please let me see something that makes me laugh. It like lists hundreds of jokes I'm reading, trying to find something that I thought I can't use any of these because even if there's one that's kind of funny, I can't even say it's my favorite joke because I don't have one.
Yeah.
So I mean, so I did see a lot of jokes, and kudos to the person who wrote them for putting forth the effort. I just did think they were funny.
That alone is so funny. You're like, nope, nope, that's lame.
That was pretty much how it was going.
Oh my gosh, that actually makes me laugh. Have you been to a what do you call it? Like a comedian show? I don't even know what they're called. Comedy show.
Yeah, well, not where the whole show was comedy. We lived in Branson, Missouri for several years, and so we had friends that were in the business there, and so I would go to their shows, and some of them were, you know, I was courteous laughing because I didn't want them to feel bad, and then there was one in particular that he actually was funny, and I can't really tell you why he was funny. Maybe it was his style. He wasn't really necessarily telling jokes, and it was more like storytelling. I don't even know what the difference was, but he was funny, and I laughed at him. And I would say that he's probably the my favorite comedian ever because he actually broke through that wall and made me laugh.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Well, kudos to him. That's a big deal. I love it. Okay, what all do you do in the film industry?
So I'm an actress. That's my main love, but I've also kind of branched off into writing, directing, producing, mainly out of just necessity because it's just when you're in a dry period and you're trying to can't book something, well then I just create my own content. So I kind of do it all at this point.
Yeah. What year did you first create your own content?
Who I have been creating content way before like the internet was huge. I know I'm aging myself. It was before people were, that was huge where you'd watch content online and like you could watch stuff on YouTube and things like that, but it wasn't big. People were like, "Oh, I want to see your project on YouTube or whatever other social media platforms." So we were doing like film festivals and things like that. So I just was writing short films, and we were filming and doing those and entering those in film festivals. But again, it was before this was the thing to do. So exact years, I honestly don't remember. Maybe I'm blocking
Yeah.
it out because I don't want to think I'm that old. I don't know.
That's awesome though. That's really good. That means you've really, you're not just, you don't have your feet tiptoeing in the water, like you're in.
No.
You've been doing
Yes.
it. That's so good. Okay, so for acting then, when did you first officially start pursuing acting?
Officially, I would say 20 some years. I've always wanted to be an actress, but there weren't the resources that are available now. So I was struggling on my own. Like I was, oh, now I'm gonna have to move to LA, or I'm gonna have to move to New York, and I couldn't do that. So that was kind of part of the reason also why I started creating my own stuff because I couldn't do that. I couldn't just get up and move. But officially, as far as like getting an agent and all that stuff, that's fairly recent. That's probably within the last 15 years.
Oh, cool. Okay. What was
Yeah.
one of the first steps you took as far as acting goes to like really start pursuing that route?
I started doing like going to workshops, and because I didn't know anything, I was, again, resources weren't available like they are now. So I was buying books. I was, trying to find workshops, just anything that I could find to get some idea of how this whole acting thing worked. That, I watched movies and it was like, I want to do what they're doing. And I would like mimic what I thought was how you do it. But, it's not exactly how it works. But I was just trying to learn. And so everybody who's in it now, and maybe they're newer at it and they're in it now, like they are so blessed to have access to the resources now. I didn't have that. So I was like trying to find my own way. And because
Mhm.
I didn't have connections or anything like that.
Good for you. I don't wanna say I love when it's hard, but I just love hearing, like, I didn't know what way to go, so I just started doing something. And then
Mhm.
from that something, you actually figure out, like, that's not where I should go, but I should turn here. And because you took action, then you know how to adjust. So I
Yeah.
really like that. What's been one of the biggest struggles that you've had as an actor up to this point?
Oh, wow. I mean, there's the obvious things, it's, not being able to book as often as you want, or maybe not having the freedom to do it, like, the scheduling freedom because of, real jobs. um,
Mhm.
but I would say, honestly, those are nothing compared to within the last few years, the struggle that I've had because I have a service dog. That has been so hard. And I didn't even think it was going to be this difficult, but it has really kind of kept me from work, which is difficult for me
Yeah.
to just, I'm like, I don't get it. Like, I'm still the same person. I still do the same job, but now I have a service dog and now they won't hire me. So that's probably the most difficult thing right now.
Yeah, and what do they say is, like, the hard part of you having a service dog? Or do
They
they?
usually sometimes like, and some of them I get, like there was one role that I had, and they said, well, there's going to be other animals on set and they didn't want to disrupt. They didn't, mine might be okay, but these other animals might get upset. That to me is fair.
Mhm.
But usually it's just lack of knowledge and education on what that looks like. Some people think, oh, she's got a dog. She doesn't look disabled. So it's not really a service dog. It's going to be one of those fake ones. And we don't want that on set. It's really lack of education. So, I do my best to try and let people know that it's not the same. And, my dog's a legitimate dog, a service dog. And so it's just a long process, just trying to get people to get it.
Mhm. I don't even know that whole service dog world, but I assume that they have very strict training that they go through to become a service dog. So, like, they
Yes,
know to be quiet. They're not gonna just bark because somebody knocked on the door. I'd assume.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, and they probably don't know that, like you said, lack of education,
Mhm.
for sure. Okay, so I mentioned that you are in the Powerhouse Sisterhood Suite. What made you join that? Well, how did you find it, and then what made you join?
I think it was because of you, because I think we were Facebook friends for a while, and I started seeing your posts, and I got curious and started looking into it. And I love the idea. I'm very much a loner. I'm so much an introvert, that I was missing that sisterhood, that fellowship with other women, and particularly women who are, not only Christians, but also are actors and in the industries, because, I have women friends that are Christians and it's wonderful and it's a blessing, but actors are a whole different, we're built differently, I feel like. And so we get each other on a different level. And I needed that. And so when I found out that you did that, I was so excited. I wanted to be a part of that. And of course, it's been wonderful. And every time I see a post from one of the ladies, I'm just so blessed. And like, gosh, I know this lady, like this, she's just amazing, based on just what I'm seeing them post. So, I think it's an amazing, group to be a part of.
And I love seeing when you guys post and seeing how many of the other sweet sisters come and, like, love on the post and comment, and I'm like,
Mhm.
it's so genuine. Like, the
Yes.
love for each other and, like, the just the friendships that are in there are so genuine, and I love it.
Yes.
Okay, being a Christian in the film industry, is there anything that you do or don't do because of your faith?
Yes. Now this is kind of an interesting story leading into this decision, because when I first started, again, lack of resources, I didn't know what it meant to be a Christian in the business. And so some of the mentors that I was working with, some of the workshops that I had done, they were like, look, this is just part of the acting world. You're going to have to do this. You're an actor. It's not you doing this. You're the character. And of course, I'm like, you get that little check, but you're like, well, I don't really know anything about the business. So maybe they're right. So I'm an actor. It's okay. Right. Like that's what was my mindset for years, because again, I didn't know any different. Um, and so not that I did like horrible things, but
Yeah.
but looking back on some of the things that I did participate in as far as projects, and, I wish that I had known then what I know now. So I don't do anything that dishonors God. I won't do, there's no nudity, there's no, sex scenes, there's no, um, kissing somebody else on screen, which that one was a tough one for me, because I'm like, but they all do it. Like that one was really hard to
Mhm.
wrap my head around why it's not honoring God. So I don't do that, of course. No profanity, and I don't do any projects that even glorify bad behavior. Of course, you're going to have bad behavior in a storyline, but if there's no redemption, if it's glorifying it and saying it's okay, and it makes the bad guys like better than the good guys, and you love the bad guys and hate the good guys, like I don't get involved in those.
That's awesome. How do you practically build your relationship with Jesus while you're pursuing acting? Like, when do you fit in Bible time and reading and prayer, all that stuff?
So my best time I have discovered is in the morning while I'm getting ready, and I have tried different things, like getting up super early and doing Bible study. I have a real focus problem, like my brain. I have ADHD, so my brain just it's I have a really hard time just sitting down reading anything, even if it's just a normal book. So for me, what works right now is I do like an audio Bible study. I
Mm.
do right now. I'm doing like the through the word. So it's like you can pick through going chronological, and it has like the commentary, and I love it because I can listen to it while I'm getting ready, and I feel like I retain that more than I do when I'm sitting down.
Mhm.
So that's what I'm doing right now. I do that every morning. And then, of course, that's the prayer time, and everything happens right then in the morning. And then as soon as I'm done with the Bible study, I'm playing worship music just so that I can keep that mindset.
Yeah,
So I try to
cool.
make that a priority every morning.
Yeah. So earlier you mentioned that you had to create your own content, and you're creating stuff right now. Can you tell us about what
Mhm.
that is?
Okay, so I'm not sure which part you're alluding to. If you're alluding to the web series, is that what
Yes.
you're? Okay,
But
so
anything you want to share regarding that?
a few years back when we lived in France, I started a series called Haven. I'm a huge biblical eschatology nerd. Like I love anything that talks about biblical end times, any of that stuff. So I know a lot of people are, and a lot of people write these stories, but I really felt like I had these stories that God wanted me to tell. So we did a series. It was supposed to be multiple seasons. We only ended up getting one season out, 8 episodes. But it's basically set in post-apocalyptic times, and you've got a group of people, the remnant, who are running from an evil government, all that kind of stuff. So we actually had won several awards for that series, and I really wanted to continue that. But the lead in that story was a little girl, and now she's like 18. So she's
Yeah.
aged out. So I thought, well, I felt like there was more that could be told. So we started writing for the Haven Chronicles, which is more of little standalone short films within the same theme. I don't know, like little vignettes or anthologies or something like that. So you've got the same people in the remnant, but they're not necessarily connected with each other. It's just you're hearing their stories. So we just wrapped the last episode that probably we'll end up doing this year. We only did 4 this year, um, but we wrapped that a couple months ago. So I'm hoping to get some more done. I've been very, very pleased with this particular um, part of the series. So we got Haven, the original, and now the Haven Chronicles. So I'm hoping to be able to get that into some film festivals, and we'll see where that goes. We'll see where God takes it.
Yeah. How did you find the team that's working with you? Like your DP, your everybody?
Oh, and it was all God. It was amazing, especially with the original series. When I look back at how the way that things fell into place, like there's no way. I mean, I had some connections in Branson because I was also in the entertainment industry there, but he brought people in our path that I would not have been able to find myself. But my husband is my DP,
Ooh,
which is a lot
nice.
of fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
and so he also edits all the sound and all that kind of stuff
Oh,
for me.
nice.
Yeah, he's really good and so helpful, and it's a lot of fun to have him on set with me, and we just work really well together. But as far as everybody else, it was like somebody would say, "Well, I'm interested in doing this," and when you're not paying people, because it was all volunteer, and we even had people from the original series. We had people driving it from a couple hours away, coming every weekend. They didn't ask for.
Wow.
Yeah, it was crazy, and it just amazes me that they were willing to do that when they didn't know me.
Yeah.
Um, so they just believed in the story that
Yeah.
much. So it's really just that you kind of, if you're not paying people, you kind of have to flex on who you're bringing in with what kind of qualifications they have. So if they don't have the qualifications, you know what, I'm going to train you. I'm going to show you how to do it
Yeah.
because we just need to have this done. And so like my cast, most of the cast in the new series were actually actors, just local actors. Some of them were our professional actors, but they were so gracious to be like, well, we love this and we love you, and so we want to do this with you. But like the original series, I don't remember how many were actually actors. I think the majority of them were amateurs, just, like maybe weekend actors or something like that. So it was all God. It was just amazing how God put everything together and how he just continued to bless the series. I'm shocked when people are asking me still, oh, we want you to enter this, or we would like to have your series stream on our service. Or I'm like, this, and they've watched it and they love it. And so it's totally God. That's all it is.
Yeah. Okay. On that note, where can people watch it? I know you said you're gonna put it in film festivals. So
Yeah. So right now, the Haven Chronicles is on YouTube. So, but it's
okay.
on. I haven't put it up on an actual separate channel yet. But we also have a Facebook page, the Haven Chronicles, and there's links to each episode on there. So that's how they can watch the new one. The old one does have its own channel, so it's Haven the web series. Make sure if anybody wants to watch it, they find Haven the web series, because there is a Haven series which is not at all similar to
Okay.
what we do.
Got it.
So yeah, so if anybody does want to watch it, that's where they can find it.
Okay. And then, oh shoot, where'd my question go? Oh, aren't you also involved locally with some acting or organization that is
Yeah,
okay?
we were doing the what do we call, I can't even, Christian Actors Connection, locally in our town.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, like it was the perfect situation, at least I thought. And I really felt like that the Lord was like guiding this, because we found they're opening up a film studio here in our town, and it's like a huge thing. They're building a sound stage, and a certified sound stage, and I knew the guy that was running it, and so they were allowing us to use the space there for these meetings. But it's interesting, in this part of the country, a lot of people who want to be actors, who have really very little experience, don't understand exactly what that means and what kind of commitment it takes. So, there's not a lot of opportunity for Christian actors here locally, and even just to get support. And because we were just going to like do some scenes and just kind of strengthen those acting muscles together in a safe area. But people were non-committal, basically, is what it was. And that seems to be pretty common in this area now. Oklahoma is getting a lot of movies, and so people are getting used to the idea of what that looks like. But there's still several people like, oh, I want to be an actor, because they know that they're filming in Oklahoma, and I want to be an actor. Let's see what this is like. And then they come and, oh, I have to work. Oh, I have to memorize lines. Oh, so it's been really hard. So we've kind of put it on the back burner for now until I figure out exactly what God wants me to do with that.
Yeah, cool. I love it. I love the idea of that. What do you have a favorite book or favorite quote or phrase?
I don't. So I don't, and I'm horrible about reading, even though I love to read. But I would say like my favorite book ever in all the history of books that I've read is The Outsiders.
Oh,
So yeah, and it's obviously it's not a Christian book. It was one of those like required reading books in school, but I read it like 20 sometimes, and then they made it a movie, and I saw it. I can't even tell you. Like I've got the movie memorized, like everything memorized, and the reason that I love it so much, because both the book and the movie were so instrumental in pushing me into this business. I always wanted to be an actor, but I never considered writing my own stuff, making my own films. About this, like I was so inspired by it. It's, so influenced, and it has nothing to do with how to make a movie or writing. It's based on a book from a lady who lives in Oklahoma. But it's just, I don't know what it was about it, but that has been a huge inspiration to me. So that I would say that's probably why it's my favorite. Do I have a favorite quote? I mean, not really. Nothing that would be like, I'm going to tell you this quote and you're going to be so inspired to go and do something. Yeah, no.
got it. I'm gonna have to watch The Outsiders because I think my husband's mentioned it before too, and I have
Oh,
no clue what it is. So
you
I'll
need
just
to
have to
watch
watch
it.
it.
Oh, it's so
Yeah.
good. We
So
just watched it again the other day. First time I've seen it since I've been an adult, and so good.
what do you watch it on? What platform?
DVD. We have a
Oh,
DVD. I'm sure
okay,
you can
cool.
find it. I'm sure you can find it like maybe on one of
True.
the platforms, but I'm not sure. We just had my in-laws had the DVD, so we borrowed it.
Cool. I'll have to
Yeah,
find. Okay. Okay,
yeah.
cool. Okay, so for somebody who is wanting to get into acting, but they're feeling stuck or they're not sure where to start or like where to move to, like what suggestions do you have for them?
Mm, man, so I wish that somebody had told me this, or at least give me some direction when back in the day when I was learning. But of course, there just wasn't a lot of resources. Obviously, be grateful that you have access to all these resources. You could do tons of research online to find your niche, to find out what you like. Um, I would say, start there, see what's available. And when you're ready to start, jumping into acting, there's community theaters, there's colleges that do films, and they do a really good job. Some of the schools put out some amazing films. So see if there's an opportunity to do that. I know, like here in Tulsa, they just put out their casting call. So I'm sure other colleges are also doing that to prep for their senior projects and things like that. So now would be a good time to start looking for those things. But again, community theater, any opportunity to act, even if it's like getting in something on background of something, because then you can be on set, you can watch it, see how it works, and then kind of work your way as you get more confidence and knowledge, work your way into other things. And then, yeah, but also most importantly, pray about it, because you don't want to jump into something that is not what God wants for you in your life, and because it's just going to make things a lot more difficult, because this is not easy. It's a very stressful business to be a part of. It's so you definitely have to make sure it's where God wants you to be.
Yeah, for sure. I love that. Okay, well, let us know, where can we find you online? I know you gave us Haven stuff. Give us Haven stuff
Mhm.
again, and then you personally.
Okay, so Haven is Haven the web series on YouTube, and then the Haven Chronicles is on Facebook. There's links to the episode there. I'm also on Facebook, Renee Michaels actor. You can find me on TikTok and Instagram as well. Actress with a Service Dog is where you're going to find me on TikTok and Instagram.
Do you also have a YouTube or no?
I do, and it would be Renee Michaels. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, thank you. This was so fun to learn more
Yes,
about you.
thank you.
Love it. Alrighty. Bye, you guys.